Hey everybody, it's Todd with Wayfinder Realty, your host for Sold On Flavor. This week, we're going to do meat sauce and we're going to make lasagna. I know it's June, we're stepping into the summer, but I got to be honest with you, prices keep going up. This is an affordable way to make a big dish. What I love about lasagna, it's scalable. So you can make it for a little amount or you can make it for a big family. And when I'm going to go to the trouble to make sauce the right way, I'm going to do it big. So I have a big stock pot. I've already grilled my sausage. So I have both sweet and Italian sausage. I'm sorry, sweet and hot Italian sausage. And then I'm going to cook up some ground beef. And then I'm going to oven roast some peppers to go in and some onions. And I got a bottle of wine. And we're going to make a great sauce. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I just have my ground beef in there. I have a little bit of olive oil at the bottom. And just some salt and pepper to season the meat. I'm literally just browning that up. It's going to go in the sauce. I've browned my ground beef, so that's in a colander. I'm draining the grease outside of it. And I'm going to get my peppers going. I'm going to put them in olive oil and salt and roast them in the oven first before I use them. I want to cut these. I'm going to cut them down before I put them in the sauce even, but for roasting purposes, I don't have to cut them that small. It's actually easier because there's a skin on peppers that once they're cooked will come off, right? So there's a skin on there. And once you cook it, it'll pop right off. It's real simple, just some kosher salt. And some olive oil. And you want to make sure everything's coated. You want to mix that up. Use your hands if you want. You can put it directly on a baking sheet. I'm going to use some parchment paper here. Save myself a little work on the cleanup. Spread them out a little bit, but it's not critical. Okay, I have my oven preheated at 400 degrees. And so I'll know when these are starting to get done because they'll start to blister a little bit. The base of my sauce, I'm going to use some onions and some garlic. I'm just slicing up my onions here. Now, what I love about this sauce is it doesn't need anything else. You can just serve this with some regular pasta, and that's a fantastic dish alone. But we are going to incorporate it into our lasagna. And what I don't use, I'll let it cool, and then I'll bag it, and then I'll put it in the freezer for future events. Now, you can dice your stuff if you want. I'm deliberately making it a little thicker pieces just because I want to taste the vegetables. Sometimes you might have small kids or adults that act like small kids, so you want to hide them. So that's when people dice stuff. But I don't mind biting into an onion in my sauce or peppers or sausage or ground beef. So like I said, a little thicker than normal dicing. Okay, it's time to check in on the peppers. They're getting there. They're starting to blister a little bit. Also, they'll start to get soft, right? So that's how you know they're done. In my stock pot, I have my onions that I'm about to get going, but I'm going to wait for I'm ready with the peppers first. We'll come in later. If only we could transmit smell through the camera. This house smells amazing. I just pulled my peppers from the oven. You can see several things. One, the color discoloration. It's gone from the bright green to like a dull green on the green peppers. Even the red. They've blistered in some spots, which is perfect. Now I'm going to let these cool a little bit, and then I'll be able to literally just lift the skin off of the pepper. The next step is I want to sweat my onions. So in my big stock pot here, like I said, I'm going to make a bunch of sauce. I'm going to turn on medium-high heat. I just have some olive oil and some salt and my onions in there. Going to let that cook down a little bit, and then I'm going to add my garlic. Once I have my onions translucent, then I'm going to add my garlic. I just minced about 6 cloves of garlic, and I'll be adding the peppers, and I'll be throwing a little bit of red wine to deglaze the pan in just a minute. Now, I always love to get in conversations with people about deglazing the pan. Some people don't see value in it. I do. Especially when it's the same pan you're going to make the sauce in, it's going to simmer for a while. If you are not stirring the sauce, it's more likely to burn. I added about a cup of wine in there. I'm just going to let that cook down for a minute, or a couple minutes, pardon me. Now, when I make sauce, I really use 2 and a little bit of the third. So I use half crushed tomatoes to half diced tomatoes. So this is diced. And I'm using 6 of these cans. So 3 crushed, 3 diced, and just a little bit of tomato paste, not a lot. Okay, now I have my roasted peppers. I'm going to add those in. Going to add my ground beef. I'm going to add my tomato paste. This will help thicken it up a little bit. Now this is pretty thick. I think I'm going to add some more crushed tomatoes. I want to thin this out. This is thicker than I want it. But like I said, I'm not worried about having extra sauce because I will take care of that. I will freeze it. Then I'm going to add my Italian seasoning. Okay. Now I'm going to let this simmer for a couple hours. Okay, this isn't really part of the video, but I like to have garlic bread with lasagna. So the way I'm going to do that is I actually purchased a loaf of bread. I'm not baking bread right now. I don't know if on my plate. All you do is you take a saute pan and you take whole cloves of garlic like this, and you put some olive oil in it. Not too much. It doesn't have to be drowned in it. And you want to cook that down. And when the garlic gets tender, then I'm going to shut it off. I'm not going to drain any of the oil. And then once it's cool, I'm going to blend it in a little food processor. And it's going to come out to make this garlic paste. And that's what I use for my garlic bread. So I'll spread the garlic paste on it. And then I'll put some mozzarella cheese and a little bit of parsley flakes on top to give it a little bit of color. And that's it. And this is incredible. This is the way to make garlic bread. Once it cools down, it literally makes this paste. This stuff is incredible. That's just olive oil and garlic cooked down. So what I'll do is I'll spread that on the bread, throw a little mozzarella, and like I said, a little parsley, and make the best garlic bread you've ever had. Next, I want to get my ricotta ready. So 2 pounds. Okay. 1 egg. And some Parmesan cheese. And then I mix that up. Everything's done. I've cooked my lasagna, noodles. I got the mozzarella cheese out, the ricotta. I'm going to show you the sauce. Look how thick that is. Oh, smells so good in here. So now there's 2 things you want to do with your lasagna, right? You want to make sure you have the right amount of sauce in it, and you bake it well. It usually takes about an hour for it to bake. So I'm going to start putting this together. I'm going to put some trays together. I won't cook it, but I'll assemble it, and then I'll throw it in the freezer. But I got plenty of shredded mozzarella, and I actually had some good mozzarella and parm. The first thing I like to do when assembling lasagna is I want to see if I can get out just some sauce. Now this is there's plenty of oil inside the sauce, right? Between the sausage, the olive oil that I cooked it in a little dish just for my wife and myself. So you just want to do a layer across the bottom. The thing about lasagna is when you put it together, it's okay if you have little odd pieces. You'll use it, just like anything else. I have a layer down. The next thing I want to do, now again, what I've done previously, I've cooked the meat separately, and then I've added the meat, and I poured the sauce on top of it. In this case, I'm just going to do the whole sauce together. So I got to have a layer of sauce, and then there's meat and vegetables inside there. And then whatever way you went the first time, now you can crisscross it and go the opposite direction. Let me go the same. It doesn't matter. I like to do it this way. But the lasagna police will not come for me if you do it the way you're used to doing it. Okay. Now with the ricotta cheese, what you want to do, you want to kind of lay it in dollops, right? Doesn't have to be fancy. You want it to like spread. Then you want their sections where there isn't it. I'm not layering it on there. I have a bored puppy. It's close to dinner time for him. So he's getting a little antsy. Okay. Then what I want to do is I'm going to take my mozzarella, and this is pre-sliced. I'll take a couple slabs here. Well, I don't want a big chunk of it. Same thing. I'm going to break it up a little bit and spread it out in different pieces. You want to make sure that your pasta is submerged in the sauce, or it'll dry out. It's just horrible. You want to get a nice thick ladle of all the meat and vegetables, the peppers and onions. And with my ladle, I'm going to press it down because there's no reason to have air pockets or anything like that. I want to keep that pasta, the lasagna noodles, in the sauce. And then again, kind of a cheese layer now. You want to preheat your oven to 385 degrees. Because I'm filling up this pretty fast, I'm going to use a little bit of meat and cheese on this layer. One more layer. So this is my top layer. And again, the goal is just to make sure that the pasta, the noodles, are submerged in the sauce. Because otherwise, they'll just dry out. This is going to be in the oven for an hour. Now, I'm going to use a sheet pan underneath it. You might want to do the same because I'm going to make it, there's a good chance it'll bubble over. I have some shredded parm. Some of that as well. Like I said, one of the things about lasagna is it's scalable, right? So, I mean, I have enough here to feed 30, or I could feed just myself. These are little loaf pans that you can find anywhere, any local supermarket, dollar store. Again, we put sauce on the bottom. Why do we put the sauce on the bottom? So the pasta will not stick to the bottom of the pan. Now, if you are taking care of elders or you are stocking up for your children who've gone away to college, think about making these. Don't bake them off, but freeze them. Okay, I'm going to take my ricotta cheese, put some dollops in there. Don't forget, inside the ricotta, there's egg and there's Parmesan cheese. And it's just rinse and repeat. I just took the lasagna out of the oven. It's finished. I do want to let it set a little bit, just because, just give everything a little bit of time to settle in. And I'm making my garlic bread now, and then I'll be cutting this soon. Hey everybody, it's Tom with Wayfinder Really, your host for Sold on Flavor. So this week we had an exciting week of doing meat sauce with onions and peppers and roasted peppers. And then we even made some garlic bread. What I love about this meal, it's scalable. Now I just thought about this. Moms, if you get together, maybe everyone does this dish on Sunday, make enough for 4 families, and then you could swap dishes and everyone has a different dish that week. So this would be a dish I would pick. So lasagna, and some ricotta here and some sausage. A meal to be shared with a friend in your new home. If I can be of assistance, please give me a call. Till next week, take care.